Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to Dreamy Dreamland with your Sensei Al Bob. Scat right here. Right. Griot. Tell you a story. Right. So I'm here in a undisclosed location. And slept here. I'm doing my best to keep the snow from accumulating. And that's a meditative technique. There's a book called The Course in Miracles. You might find it interesting. It basically says that there is no such thing as a big miracle, a little miracle. You find your keys, that's a miracle. After you lost them. And, it's up to you to make the difference in your life. There is no making a business. Your life isn't transactional. Right? Your life is part of a flow, the whole universe, everything about you. Was a Hassel, a Hebrew philosopher, right? He was trying to get closer and closer to understanding what the Holy Scripture said about the relationship, the meaning to life, all the above. And everything, he realized that God and nature were the same thing. There was no duality, no separation. And most religions are based in duality. Heaven above, hell below. We're in the middle. The lake of fire is right here, right now. Basically, there was a bed here, but it's no longer here. So there was a little cot that was about maybe, 10 inches off the ground. With my legs in the shape they are, that's pretty hard. It's like I'm gravitationally challenged. So I had to visualize myself being able to sleep there and get out of there. So that was the interesting motif. So it was, at least I was warm. This is the warm room. And I was at least warm. I have the internet. I can make phone calls. All good. But when I lie down, I had to find a spot where my ankles, my knees, my hips all were kind of in a alignment. Right? If I turned one way or another, it made things uncomfortable. Right? So I would wake up. So I was always going in and out of sleep, so I had a lot of dreams. And I saw that inside my body. I saw myself breathing in the prana life force of God's love and how it illuminated every cell in my body. I want you to do the same. Right? you to listen to this. So there's, everything is on YouTube. There's some really good stuff on YouTube.
This is it. The moment you've been waiting for. Perfect timing. You're about to hear the one message that could change everything before 2025. And you felt it, haven't you? That pull towards something bigger. The moments of doubt. The emptiness you can't explain. That unshakable feeling that you're meant for more than this endless cycle of routines. The weight of fear, negativity, and limitation has kept you small. But today, that ends. Today, you activate the light that's been inside you all along. Look around at your life, at the world. Doesn't it feel like something's missing? Doesn't it feel like you're more than just this body, this name, this routine existence? Because you are. The truth has been hidden from you, not by accident, but by design. For centuries, systems of control, society, language, conditioning, have worked to keep you small, to keep you distracted, powerless, and stuck in place. But not anymore. Today, we shatter the illusion. Today, you rediscover who you are, why you're here, and what you're capable of. And here's the truth. The timing couldn't be more urgent. 2025 marks a turning point in human evolution, a line in the sand. Right now, the world is waking up. The old systems of fear and control are cracking. The illusion of limitation is breaking. More than ever before, people are beginning to see the truth. And if you're here watching this, it's no accident. The universe guided you to this moment because you're ready. And the truth is this: you're not a victim of circumstance. You're not powerless. You are a creator, a force of energy with the ability to shape reality. But here's what they don't want you to know. To awaken this power, you have to see through the illusion. You have to rise above the fear, doubt.
Energy providers are panicking over this Black Friday heater deal. This space heater is being called the Tesla of heaters. It can warm up
A negativity they've used to keep you in the dark. You have to remember who you are. Everything is energy. Everything in the universe is energy, frequency, and vibration. Nikola Tesla said it best. If you want to understand the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. And he was right. Modern science is only now catching up with what ancient wisdom has always known, that everything, from the stars in the sky to the cells in your body, vibrates with energy. And you are a being of light, refracting the energy of the universe through your thoughts, emotions, and actions. But here's what no one has told you. The world you see, the reality you experience, is only the first layer. Beneath this dense illusion lies something greater.
The greater thing is love's co-creation. That's the vibration. Everything is electric. Everything is a wave. Everything's a particle. When you are observing the specific, it's a particle. When you're part of the flow, it's a wave. And the way to get to this is through breath. Because it allows you to cut away the peripheral, takes off the blinders. Yeah? So you consciously are aware of your breath. But normally you're not. Normally your autonomic system takes care of your breath. Just like your heart and all the body functions. I mean, if you had to think about creating enzymes, you'd be able to. Unless you let go of the peripheral. All of this that we think is hard, that's real, this is the illusion. This is just my avatar. We were given a doorway out of the garden because the garden was a set place. We couldn't grow, couldn't experience. All we could be is like, and that's what we are, right? We're all our relations. We're all, as much that tree, that rose, that ant, that dog, I'm part of that. And that's why in the garden everyone got along because we were all part. You wouldn't rip yourself up. But when we were given the opportunity to make the decision, because if we had just been, like one of the animals, one of the plants, we wouldn't have gone and eaten the fruit of the understanding of good and evil, understanding of so above, so below. And when people delve into the occult and esoteric, which are just, of the 9 doorways, they're just another doorway. And it's nothing that big. It's not that important. It's just another way to see things, right? But once they were discovered, they were, again, like religions, turned into religion. Both Christianity and Judaism and also Islam, Hindu, Buddhism, they all have this kind of you suck book, then the esoteric book, like for the high hippie holies, and then the basically occult, right? Cabal, right? But all of those things are sticky. They can stick you. And that's one of the things I've been thinking about is that my whole life, early on, I saw people from an early age, from as far back as I can remember, as an infant, as a baby, as a child, as a adolescent child, as an adolescent, as a teenager, all of those different points. I was always observing. I was always observing humanity, not really questioning anything, not really having any fun. I mean, they were just going through these rote progressions over and go to work, go to school, wake up, and I was always just enthralled with that I was alive. And I looked at everything as brand new, like, what is this? I can put it in my mouth. Come on, taste it, right? I mean, it's not like a be end and end all or something, but it's okay. And then I would be more have a sense of not judgment, but taste. Right? Okay, that's good, but it's not like it's texture. It's what is it? Spicy, salty, bitter. What is that? So it wasn't like I was judging things. I was just creating a palette, that a painter has to choose different things, and then you mix them together, and then put them on the canvas of life. You create. And then I realized that just creating by myself was okay. That was kind of cool. That was interesting. But I went deeper into that. I realized there was something in that creation thing. What is that creation thing? When I was an infant, maybe 6 months old, or however old you are when you can kind of crawl around, my mom just kind of stuck me in the middle of the living room carpet, and I was crawling around. I don't know where I got it, but I found a metal knife, and I stuck it in the electric socket. I don't know why I did that, but I did it. And I had a choice. In an electric socket, there's three. There's the little U thing at the bottom. That's like the ground. That's like the ground. And then the big thing here, and then the little thing over here. The big one is the neutral, and the little one is hot. That's where the current is that flows, right? And I was in my onesie, and I just stuck it in there. I had a 50-50 chance. And it was also, when you look at the outlet, the little one that is hot, you have a, it's made little so you don't stick things in it. But this knife just fit itself right in. It was all metal, and I was like, ooh, ooh. And since I was a floating ground, meaning the current couldn't go anywhere. I mean, it went into me, but it wasn't completing the circuit, so I didn't get a shock. I just got a little tingle. And whenever you get a little tingle and you're an infant, the first thing you tingle in is your, erogenous zones, your little. And when you're an infant, you're very sexual. You start playing with yourself, right? Rubbing this, rubbing that. Oh, I wonder what this is. I wonder what this is. And and that electric thing communicated more to me than my mother and anybody, right? More than Mammoth's nipple, right? That I was sucking on. And my sister, who was maybe 3 at the time, maybe 4, ratted me up because she was the youngest and she was getting all the attention, and then I came along. The other 2 came before me and they died, right? And miscarriage, stillbirth, stuff like that. Because my mom, my parents really shouldn't have had kids. And it wasn't like they were mean or cruel or starved us or anything or beat us. No, they didn't do any of those things. They were always impatient. They were always so concerned about their own life, not us. We were just an extension of them, not individuals. And so they dressed us up and they basically controlled us, so we would act the proper way in the family unit. So when we went out, everyone would say, "Oh, look at them! Aren't they pretty? They got a nice car. They got the kids are all dressed up and they behave and right." And whereas me, I wasn't with them. When I was born, I died, and I was kind of sick. And the doctor who saved my life basically talked to my mother and said, you've been suffering postpartum, since you had your first kid, so you really can't. The other 2 died, so we don't want just one to die. So why don't we let your mother-in-law, your grandma, she's all by herself. She got the big house and got neighbors, and so I did. I lived with grandma. And grandma, was kind of busy in her own life when she had kids, but as a grandma, she realized she could do a better job. And the neighbor was a black woman, Mama, and she had like 6, 8 kids. And she had a baby just before I was born, right about 3 months before I was born, 100 days maybe. So when I came along, she had these big breasts, and so I got to, be in the same big crib with Emily, and we kind of were 2 peas in a pod, and we just enjoyed ourselves, all the way up until I stayed in touch with them until I was in my 20s. When I started really traveling a lot, having nothing to do with my family. And when my grandma died, I kind of, got out of touch. But they would get, especially Emily. She would find me and send me a note or a card. And she had, done, her mother was actually a doctor, right? She had gone through medical school. And then World War II broke out, and she was an officer in this black um, brigade of women that were in the U.S. Army, and they, like the white women of the WASP who flew airplanes and were in real dangerous situations. They were just used until they weren't needed anymore, and then told to go home and take care of the house. Even though they spent like 3 or 4 years doing stuff that men couldn't even do. But this black battalion was, a real army thing. Right? And the guys in the black battalion were like Seabees. They were engineers. They would, go in first and disarm the mines and that because they were expendable. They were black, right? But they were well trained, so they weren't that expendable. So these women were the medical unit and also the technical unit, right? Not in machines like the guys did, took care of the trucks and jeeps and tanks and stuff that they had, and bulldozers and stuff. But a lot of the women were engineers. I would go, out with the guys, first on the beach and work things out, right? And Mama was one of those. So she was a surgeon. She was also an administrator. So she ran the hospital with these other 3 black women. And then after the war, she came back, and they said, "Well, you're not a doctor, really. I mean, you were black. You worked on black people. You're not a doctor." I mean, even though she went to medical school, she got all kinds of. She was a major, and so she just basically, you go back and just be a cleaning lady. So she basically did that, but she started her own business. She didn't like be a maid for one woman and got paid 20 cents. No, she got all these women and got work for them and and basically made the white people think that she was white because she never saw them. She just talked to them on the phone. There was a company, and so they paid her the going rate. And these people were really good at what they did, and she paid them way more than those black people got. So this is all the material world. So I had 1 foot in the electric world and 1 foot observing the material world. And Mama and her family loved me like I was one of theirs, and I was like Steve Martin in the church. I could dance. And I picked up on how to talk smack. And I mean, I was an African. That's when Mama used to say, "You're African American. That's known and challenged." And she understood that I was not like anybody else. So my grandma was a big reader, Reader's Digest. She was big, and movie magazines. And even as an infant, we would go to the movies 2 or 3 times a week. Right? And my grandma would take a number of Mama's kids with her. Right? And my grandma had gone to the same movie theater for years, and the guy who owned it and ran it knew Grandma real well, knew my grandfather really well. So they were well respected in the community, and the fact that they were, and Italians at that time, at the turn of the century, were looked on just like Mexicans are today. Mexicans are looked on as somebody lower than black people, right? So, and the white basic white basic, misogynistic, um, mega world that's trying to reassert itself because, as our friend here was talking, that we are already in. There was this thing in the '80s called I was attached to the Mayan calendar, and a procession of planets and stars were in alignment. And in the '50s, the Aquarian age started. So in the '60s, there was a song, "It's the age of Aquarius," blah, 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 blah. So this change that is occurring was heralded, many, many ways, many years, you name it. And here we are, right? And all kinds of seers have Edgar Casey, Nostradamus, the blind lady in Europe, all these seers. And there's all these other hokum. I don't pretend to be a seer. All I am is observant. So I was observant my whole life, right? So and because of that, things would come into my life. And there were interesting things, there were challenging things. My health was always, up until I was 10. I died when I was 10. And I woke up in this Catholic hospital, and this nun, she looked like the flying nun. And my parents just dropped me there. It was in Florida. My dad, no longer in the Air Force, was working for this company. My dad excelled at whatever he put his mind to. And he was handsome. He looked like Rudolph Valentine, like a movie star. So he didn't look like Italian. He was like really athletic, really tall, really, well built, but not like a weightlifter. But he was very athletic and really smart. He was a triple Virgo, so he was always right. So within the construct of the illusion of the organizing system, they loved this guy, right? The Air Force loved my dad, right? When he went into the corporate world, they loved his ass, right? Because he was great. He was not lazy. He was very much a high achiever. So we went in that job and got a job as a salesman. Like within 3 months, he became the best salesman. Within a year, he was a partner in the business. Right? And so the company had a house in Florida, in Pompano Beach. And we used to go there, right? And my mother would like pack, we'd be there a week and she'd pack like we were going to be there a year. And so when I was 10, they decided every time on my birthday I would get sick, right? Strep throat, tonsillitis, whatever. And I still have all that stuff in me. I still, So got really sick, ended up in a Catholic hospital, and I was delirious. And my parents just dropped me there, and they put ran around with the kids and did stuff. I didn't know. I was delirious. I didn't know what was going on. And then I was still sick, so my dad had to go back to work, and kids had to go back to school. And so he took them back, and Grandma came and took care of them in their house. And my mom stayed in Florida at this nice, cushy house on the beach in Pompano Beach, right on A1A. like the Intercoastal was in our backyard, and the Atlantic Ocean was just on the other side. You just walked across A1A. There was a big beach. You went into it, right? And they had a big kind of club called Barefoot Mailman, and these houses that wasn't a gated community, but if you lived in this neighborhood, this cul-de-sac, you had a membership to this kind of thing, and everybody had a boat and all the rest. And so I'm in the hospital, and so to keep my mom company, her best friend Aunt Gracie came down, and the girls were having a great old time going to that club and playing bridge and canasta and poker, and just taking these people to the bank. I mean, my mom was making, a lot of folding money and a lot of cocktails and lots of cigarettes, and she was just having a time. She loved that. She loved playing games, and everything to her was playing a game. Right? She was all about strategy. Right? Anyway, I'm in the hospital, delirious, and they don't come and visit me. I guess they did a couple of times, and I'm like, say, okay, yeah, he'll get out of it. And so they had a big TV up in the ceiling, first color TV, big round screen, and on the edges, everything was kind of blurring out. And they were playing Wizard of Oz, and I'm watching, and the Wing and Winkies are coming after Dorothy and Toto and the clan, the crew, the cadre, the lion, the scarecrow, and the Tin Man, and they pick them up and they're carrying them away to the Wicked Witch's castle, and I'm looking at this and I think, because I think the Wing and Winkies are going to come for me. And this nun who had like the flying nun habit, just gigantic wings, and she like, what's wrong with you? No, how do you do? She just kind of was like. So I thought she was a Wing and Winky, so I gave her a right uppercut, and then I was out. And I kind of saw her fly over me like a Wing and Winky would do, and smash into whatever was over there in the room. And I was gone. And when I woke up, the fever had passed, and I was in the bed, and my arms were tied to the back, and my legs were tied to the thing. And that was one of the things that, why at night I'm always like trying to get myself loose. And I was in my own feces and urine. And just then, my Aunt Gracie and my mother came in, and they saw me like that, and they were like, lost their shit, and screaming at everyone, and took me away and hosed me off in the right. And I could, the fever had broken. Before they came in, I said to myself, 10 years old, I said, that's it. I am not getting sick ever again. Period. That's it. And earlier on in first grade, I was about 7, a Nazi nun tried to murder me. Right? Broke my jaw. That's why I kind of speak a little strange. And, broke the little stirrup in this ear, so this hearing is different, and broke the orbit in my eye, so this eye is a little strange. But then, because of that, my Cardinal Cushing, my godfather, put me in this sanctuary in Garden City, where the Marinols were, and it was a sanctuary, and it was priests and nuns, but they wore street clothes. They didn't wear any kind of habits, no collars, no nothing, and they were all scholars, right? And they just kind of I was like the $6 million man. They like put me back together. And all of that time, from birth to 10, I constantly kept being put in this mix of what our friend here is talking about. We're going to go back to our friend.
A path to ascension. A journey through 12 stages of consciousness that will awaken your forgotten power and connect you to your true divine nature. This isn't just another video. This is your guide, a roadmap to unlock the most powerful truths about yourself and the universe. Over the next 3 hours, you'll discover 1. Your true nature as a human, a being of light and vibration. 2. The 12 stages of ascension, a step-by-step journey to rise beyond the physical and into pure consciousness. 3. How to activate your hidden, God-given power, the ability to transform your reality through energy, intention, and alignment. This is not just a video. It's a revelation, a wake-up call. 2025 is coming fast. The time to reclaim your power, awaken your light, and step into your true potential is now. So let me ask you.
This hydrogen water bottle is going viral. It slows down aging and disease. Watch this now before the bottled water companies take it down. A brilliant water scientist from Japan just destroyed.
Are you ready to see the truth? Are you ready to let go of the old story? That you are only human, and embrace the reality that you are so much more? This is your time. The shift is here. The journey begins now. Let's begin. Look closely. At first glance, the universe seems chaotic. Billions of stars, spinning galaxies, countless life forms. It looks random, but it's not. There's a pattern, an order that connects everything. The spiral of a seashell mirrors the swirl of a hurricane. The veins in a leaf look just like the veins in your body. A tree's roots stretch like the rivers that carve their way across the earth. And if you zoom in far enough, even the neurons in your brain look like galaxies expanding through space.
I want you to see what this guy is describing. Close your eyes, breathe deep, breathe out, breathe in. Then, if you relax, let your autonomic system take over and listen to this.
These aren't coincidences. They're clues. They tell us one thing. Everything is connected. Let's start with the patterns you see every day. Have you ever looked at a sunflower? Its seeds form a perfect spiral, not randomly, but following a precise mathematical sequence called the Fibonacci sequence. It's the same spiral you see in hurricanes, the same spiral in a snail's shell. Even galaxies spin in this shape. Nature repeats itself because it follows the same fundamental rules, no matter the scale. The patterns are everywhere. Look at a tree. Its branches grow like the blood vessels in your body. The roots underground look just like the river systems on Earth. It's as if nature uses the same blueprint over and over again. Whether it's building a plant, a person, or a planet, it doesn't matter. The same designs appear. Now let's bring it closer to home. Think of your body. The lungs branch into tiny pathways that look just like tree limbs. Your veins resemble the roots of plants, delivering life throughout the body. Your brain cells, when mapped, look almost identical to images of the universe, clusters of galaxies spread out across space. And here's the mind-blowing part. The patterns in you don't stop at your body. Your energy, your thoughts, your consciousness, they are part of something bigger. You are not separate from nature. You are nature. The same patterns that run through the stars run through you. So why does everything look so similar? Because everything is energy. At the atomic level, you're not solid. You're vibrating energy, just like everything else. The rocks, the rivers, the stars, all of it. The reason everything looks connected is because it is connected. Energy flows through everything. It pulses, expands, and contracts, like your heartbeat, like the tides, like the seasons. This rhythm connects all things. It's why the moon pulls the ocean's waves. It's why your emotions, your energy, can ripple out and impact others around you. Energy doesn't know boundaries. It doesn't stop at your skin or the edges of a planet. It moves through you, connects you to everything else. Let's zoom in and out again. A drop of water forms ripples just like sound waves vibrating in the air. A single atom spins with the same rhythm as planets orbiting a star. The cells in your body mimic the structure of entire galaxies. It's all connected. The universe is built on repeating patterns that show up at every level, from the smallest particle to the largest star system. This isn't just about science, it's about life. The connections aren't just physical, they're emotional too.
I'll talk to you later.
Ever walked into a room and felt tension in the air? That's energy. Ever met someone and instantly felt like you've known them forever?